Hello everybody, Reggie Time here with another simplified snap video, 10NL snap. A little bit of housekeeping before we start as usual. Don't forget to hit the likes, the shares, the subscribes. If you have been thinking about getting some coaching, now is a good time to consider contacting me because I'm going to have quite a bit of spare time for the next month. I've got 5 shifts left in my contract and then just kind of half weeks with my new relief contract between now and the end of October, so I have lots of spare time to play and coach poker, and I'd very much like to hear from you if you're interested in getting involved in that. Whilst I'm doing the spam, there's now a new link beneath the video for microgrinder poker, which I'm also kind of associated with. I make content for them, a couple of videos a month, occasionally create your course for them. They're currently running a promotion where you can subscribe for as little as $1, I think it is, for the month. If you are a newish or recreational player and you want some pretty good fundamental basic content before you start moving on to some more advanced stuff, Microgrinder really is a good place to go. So is our Facebook group, so is my channel, etc. Everything that I do and Microgrinder does is very much designed and geared towards players who aren't playing the upper echelons of the micro stakes and who possibly have some problems with fundamentals, etc. So please do pop over there and take a look via my link, and yeah, that'd be fantastic. Right, 1 minute 44 seconds of preamble, probably not what anyone wants, but we're into it now. Played quite a lot of these games today. I'm trying to build up my database of like 5 and 10NL so I can get a really good feel for these games, but also produce a current graph of at least 50,000 hands that I've played in these games, 10NL, 5NL recently, because when people come to me, they quite often say, have you got a recent graph? And because I play on Sky, I don't. So I'm going to try and crush some volume in October when Sky isn't really particularly heavy with traffic, so I can assure people that they're working with somebody who is very competent in the games that they are striving to beat. Just had a bad session before I started the video. We had two good sessions, one mediocre session, and then one bad session towards the end there where I played 1,200 hands and I won at Showdown 31%. When you win at Showdown 31% of a 1,200 hands, you're not going to make any beans. That's just going to be a session you have to chalk down to experience. Hopefully, we can do a little bit better whilst we're making this video. But definitely good card to double barrel here. Gives us a lot of fold equity and gives us a lot of pot equity too. And when you've got fold equity and pot equity, it's never a bad time to start dropping a bomb and see what happens. These games, by and large, they're without question better than Zoom and Fast Forward and what have you. But they're by and large propped by a pretty large pool of weak, tight, pretty bad regulars, and then the occasional whopper in there to ensure that the games remain plenty soft enough. But I've been reviewing quite a lot of hands today, and there's just so many really bad regulars in these games that just in here, it's like not doing much, playing pretty passively, waiting for the coolers, hope they're on the right side of them. They're not great games. The plan was at the start of the day, and let's face it, we all know what I'm like for fucking making plans and not sticking to them. The plan was to try and play 100,000 hands in the month and produce like a really good graph, but not a chance. Not a chance I could play 80 hours of this in a month without wanting to put a fucking bullet through my head. So that plan is already out the window, but I do intend to play plenty of it just when Sky isn't performing and I just like want to just like play some poker. But yeah, if this was like the option for me, AAA Snap, I honestly think I'd rather go back and maybe get a dull office job, because they are desperately dull games compared to Sky. But they are exciting games compared to Zoom, which is also quite exciting games compared to Fast Forward. So it's all relative. It's all relative. I wouldn't dissuade anyone from playing these games if Fast Forward's your thing. But I would really try and persuade people to play regular tables above these if you weren't some kind of like volume junkie. If you're a volume junkie, then speed poker is what you have to do. As you all, well, most of you know, maybe the guys that are new to the channel won't know, but because all they're really seeing me doing is speed poker content. But I'm not a volume player. I'm very much a low volume, high quality game type player rather than high volume, low game quality type of player. Each to their own, of course. I'm not knocking either approach. I just know what I personally prefer and what I feel is probably best for most players, but it depends what you want from the game. If you want to just play like a fast-paced game where you get to see lots of hands and you're not overly concerned about like making money from the game, then by all means get wide into these. But if profit is your goal, then speed poker probably shouldn't be your vehicle of choice. I'm not folding these queens. If he jams, he's going to get called. We're going to hope to be in a flip at that point. He calls instead. Pretty diabolical flop. I mean, he shouldn't have too much ace-x in his range. Ace-king probably jams pre. We block ace-queen really hard. Ace-jack. Ace-10 maybe. The ace is annoying because sometimes it beats us and all of the time it kills our action if we are ahead. He bets huge on this turn. There's just pretty much nothing we can do here. I mean, he's not using this sizing with pocket jacks. He's not even using this sizing with probably like ace jack, I wouldn't have thought. Well, if he does, we'll fucking beat. There's nothing much you can do here except fold. It's a 4-bet pot. I think his bluff frequency here is going to be incredibly, incredibly low. And he could also just have some slow plays in there, of course. However, on table 1, we turn a boat. The board is so dry, we're going to actually just keep with the small bet sizes. Just hope he just keeps calling with something that we beat. That's nice. We have the nuts and he's jammed into us. Beautiful. Makes me feel a little bit better after the fucking queen debacle. I cannot remember the last time I saw somebody overbet the river and it be a bluff. It might be the most, how do I want to word this? How do I want to word it? People just don't do it as a bluff, I guess. It's so rare, so. I mean, I can't remember the last time I called a river bet. I mean, I paid off plenty, hoping there's some bluffs in there, and just never seen them. Literally never seen bluffs. I mean, let's say he's a fucking moron, but he probably just has an ace here. Why would he jam an ace? He didn't have the ace, he just hits the jack instead. Did I mention that Eggy was a fucking moron? There you go. Evidenced by his fucking horrendous line there. I mean, this guy plays every fucking day just about, and he's, I mean, get the message that you shit, get better, or just find a new hobby, Eggy, because, wow, you are shit. Nothing more to say. I think we're all talked out on Eggy there, I think. Did I mention these games are quite dull sometimes? Even more dull when you're two-tabling, aren't they? Let's 3-bet the ace queen versus Eugene. Don't know a lot about him. Think he's a regular, but I don't know for sure. That's a reasonable flop. If he's a regular, he's good enough to just check fold almost everything on this turn, so we're actually going to take a street off. I just don't think we have a 3-street hand versus a regular here. Obviously we'd have the nuts. And now it's just a question of what do we think Eggy has? Eugene has. I think it's very likely he just has like an incredibly small pocket pair here. Pocket 8 or something. So he's going to try and force him to call with stuff like that. Pocket kings. Okie dokie. Did not 4-bet me pretty with kings. Interested. I like to slow play versus 3-bet sometimes, but it's usually going to be aces when I'm doing it. Not necessarily. I think I always 4-bet kings and then sometimes slow play aces. Kings are always vulnerable to that fucking stinking rotten ace on the flop, aren't they? Does it come like whatever 20% of the time, something like that? I'm not sure what it is, but whatever it is, it seems to come a lot fucking more when you have 2 kings in your hand, or it certainly feels like it does, which I know is obviously nonsense, but I think maybe even in position we can slow play kings, but out of position, his base under the gun, he's been 3-bet by someone who we might know is quite tight. So I understand why he's a little bit anxious, but I mean, we're going to have way more than just aces there. That is a very, very big cold 4-bet. Way too fucking big. Monstrously big. If you are cold 4-betting when it's under the gun middle position, do not make it 3.5x. It's a really bad play here. Whatever he's got here, it's a bad play. I guess we just fold with that completely with this king. I mean, it's such a strong move there. He can just bet that like 24 and put fucking tons of pressure on everything. Making it 31 there is way, way, way too big. And I was talking to someone about this afternoon. I think it was somebody working with, I think it was David. And I was talking about how I think that the next, or the current biggest way of defining your edge versus opponents is in bet sizing. I think lots and lots of like pretty weak, moderate regulars have got pre-flop ranges down pat. They're kind of playing okayish post-flop, not very good, but okayish. They're not making any like huge mistakes with their frequencies, but they're making lots and lots of mistakes with their sizes, both pre and post-flop. And I think if you like work really hard on your sizings and get where you're getting figure out the maximum value, maximum size you can use for value, the minimum size you can use to try and get bluffs through, etc. I mean, if you want to work on your game, I would say work on your sizings right now. I mean, if you're happy with your frequencies in more spots but you're still struggling, it's a good chance you can find some extra edge by playing around with your sizings. That's a pretty shitty turn. We're just going to check call. We can't really get caught by worse very often anymore. But I mean, he doesn't have to peel ace X too much here. Probably has got it, but I mean, this is just like the not worst run out. But he's betting we're going to be getting ridiculous odds, and he did just have a bluff. So hats off to us. Screw you, 888 Delano, whatever you pronounce your screen name. Normally I don't see bet in 3-bet in like multi-way pots, but this board is just so damn dry. Then we can double barrel pretty effectively, starting with a small bet. And assuming we don't get raised, then I'm trying to apply a lot of pressure on turns. Obviously if we get called in 2 spots, then we're just going to be done with it. If we get raised, we're going to be done with it. But I think we can like use this bet size, get called by some pretty weak holdings here, and then shut the door on them on the turn quite a lot on this board texture. And maybe the bet just takes it down now. I wouldn't be very surprised to see that either. And this puts things like pocket 5s, pocket 7s in a tough spot betting this size. And if they do call with those types of hands, then we can just like size up on the turn and put pressure on everything that like isn't King X or better. So that's the plan. But we're just hoping plan A works, which is they both fold now. Plan B is barrel, lots of turns. Plan A works though. You really can get away with these super small c-bet sizes in this because they are so weak, tight and jar. Most of the regulars are playing pretty damn fit or fold. So good strategy really is to like do a lot of small pro bets on flops and then try and shut doors on turns and rivers on run-outs that aren't particularly good for capped ranges. I can't remember a time in poker when it felt like the general population's C-bet percentage was so low. I put a lot of it down to Doug Polk, because he released his post-op game plan. He talked a lot about in videos about trying to be balanced, and I think a lot of people just get it wrong a lot of the time. If you haven't checked out his post-op game plan, it's an interesting little module, but I think a lot of people have used it and they've started putting everything into category 2 that isn't the nuts. Yeah, and I think Doug Polk has single-handedly made micro-stakes poker pretty damn passive, which I'm sure wasn't his intention in the slightest. I'm going to double barrel here, then give up river. If he calls a game, we're just going to give up rivers. He still beats some of his hands that might call at 5-6, 5 deuce. Not that he has too many of those hands, but we do beat some of his calling range, so we do have a modicum of like tiny little smattering of showdown value. Pretty bad turn card, but probably going to check fold unless he just bets really small. He doesn't even bet. Don't think we can bet this river for value much. I think it's just check and then decide based on sizing. If it goes check, check, we probably win. King Jack. I mean, that's just a super trivial double barrel there. It's a trivially easy double barrel. Possibly even empty the clip. It's a good example of just how like weak most of the players are in the pool. I mean, that's just like so simple. You flopped an open end there. Your opponent can have lots of like on the turn, lots of like worse draws. Some 7x that's folding. 10x you can maybe triple off the pot. But instead he just like c-bets once and just gives up. It's really poor. It's really bad poker. There's a lot. That's why we talk about these like how many bad regulars are. And I'm not. Some people might think I'm a bad regular too, and that's very much up to them to what they want to think. But compared to the bad regulars in these pools, not even close to bad. Do you want to make mistakes? Fucking loads, plenty of mistakes. But compared to the field, and I'm saying this about 10L and 13L Snap, 2 and 20L and 13L and Sky. No, there's still plenty of like bad enough players where you can make reasonable win rates in these games. It's like people have learned to be tight pre-flop, and then it's almost like they give up learning. You know, it's like, right, well, I've learned to play tight now. I'm just entitled to win because I'm playing stronger ranges than many of the fish. So I'm just entitled to win because of that. And then they forget about identifying good spots to step outside the comfort zones. You know, they're very good at playing tight, maybe finding the occasional bluff, betting the nuts and second nuts and things. But like they just play the like probably middle and bottom parts of the range just so badly, so badly, so weak with the middle and bottom parts of the range. It's just going to be really hard for lots of them to get through the bottleneck of like 5 and 10 and L, because they just don't. They're not willing to open the toolbox. It's. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure people are scared of losing. Whether it's people are scared of getting outplayed, so they just like play super passively. I don't actually know. I mean, lots of different people will have lots of different reasons why they don't play well. And if you're one of those guys, you'll deep down you'll know what some of them reasons are. Some of you will be short on bankroll, so you're risk averse. Some of you will just hate losing or hate the feeling of being outplayed, so you'll just play for showdown more often. There's lots of reasons for it, all unique to different people, but it's not 2007 and 2008 anymore. Playing tight isn't enough. I'm a tight player, but I like to think I put a lot more thought and effort into post-flop than many of my other tight playing peers. Against this stack size, we're not going to see bet flop. He instantly checks back. And we just have showdown value, so we're going to try and realise it. It's a lot harder to realise it out of position than in position. It's going to suck if this guy's just got like pocket threes or something here. But we have showdown value against a lot of his range, or a reasonable part of it, and we do just win. King deuce. Well played, Enrique. Well played, Enrique. You are a genius. Could not have made it more obvious that I had fuck all there. And he still had zero desire to bluff. That's why we don't pay off in these games, boys and girls. Check min raise. Glad I've got air. Makes it incredibly easy. Obviously, I'd rather have had a queen, but if we're not going to have a queen there, having air is the next best thing. Or a flush draw. And there's a reasonable chance there he's just bluffing with something, but even some of his bluffs that was bait. So, who gives a shit? Deuce. Then we've got two options here: check back and bluff catch rivers, or bet turn, fall to a raise and check back rivers. And I think I prefer the bet turn. We still get called by like 8, 9, 7x some of the time. He may have like just have like a pair and a flush draw now. A pretty easy bet here. Fall to a raise. It doesn't really change much. It's going to be really hard to get caught by worse here now. He loses to. I mean, this looks like it's going to be a pretty weak check back. But I'm just trying to think of like worse hands I can call. And I guess we just have to bet super small and target is like 6 and 7x. Problem is now if he raises, he might be responding to our bet sizing on the river. I doubt he's going to just turn a hand into a bluff because we bet small. This is why we probably should have checked back, because this is a pretty rough spot now. We just need to call, given the odds that we're getting. Same hand. It was just never going to be a bluff, that, or so rarely going to be a bluff. I think we just shoved this river, don't we? Not sure I love his river check raise there, you know, even though we bet small. I mean, if we're not folding Queen 10 there, we're not folding anything at all that he's beating. Oh, sorry, we're not calling with worse. Sorry. Not sure what I'm trying to say. I just don't like his check raise much. I think he should probably just check call. As you can see, I'm c-betting with a very high frequency using a small sizing. And it's working a lot. It's working with a very high frequency. It needs to work like, I don't know, a third of the time, quarter of the time, something like that. It works way more than that, but it also allows us to put some light double barrels into, because our opponent's ranges are going to be much weaker when they just call. So I think it's a really good strategy for these games. Small probe bets on flops and then start opening your toolbox up on the turn. Tempted to raise here. We have some backdoor equity on overcard. We do turn a good shot, but when he calls a check raise, he's going to have, there's just no draws he can really be calling with. 5-6 is the only real draw he can be calling with. I still think we need to barrel a turn though, and then just give up if he calls. Just in case he's been floating with any ace high type stuff. It's a really good run out to continue bluffing on. Really good run out, but I'm really afraid he can just have overpairs here a lot that it's aren't folding. And we can put a ton of pressure on pocket queens and pocket jacks here now, I guess. We don't rep very much. We rep sets, and that's about it. Not all we represent. It's going to be sad here when he like shows us ace 8 or something like that, but we're just going to give up. That's a good card to bluff on though. It's a good card to bluff on. Maybe we should have emptied the clip. I'm thinking now I should have bet. Thinking I should have bet now. I'm disappointed I've checked. A little bit happier when he bets that small because it looks value-y. Good bet, Eggy. Well played, sir. That is exceptional stuff. King Jack's strong enough to defend here. Not a huge one, I call the 3 bets out of position, but King Jack suited's plenty playable here. Could get ourselves in trouble now. turn card's not going to help us stay out of trouble. Probably going to check call turn here and probably check fold river if he triples. I think it's a good spot to bet small here, fold to a raise, I think. I'm worried you can have stuff like king queen that's like pot controlled on the turn. Ace king bets again for sure. I don't think he's necessarily going to bluff with his ace highs if we check, so we can't really check call. Wow, look at that. Instant check back flop on a board. He should be c-betting with a ton of his range and then auto fold turn. Again, a good example of what we talked about earlier, just how like moderately more so like the weak type players play in these games. I'm going to fold the ace jack versus the pot size open from another gun. A little bit nitty, but I think it's fine. I'm going to fold versus the 3-bet and the cold 4-bet and take it off screen. If anything interesting happens, we'll show you. Wow. So this guy's called the cold 4-bet and then just dunked pot on this flop. Which I don't care what he's got, that's fucking rubbish. Don't care what he's got here, it's a fucking rubbish line. We want to be getting that table up again so we can see what's happening, don't we? Eight is clearly struggling with his decision here. Looks like he's going to fold. Out of that, he's got the world's biggest slow roll going on. No, do not like his line there at all. I do like flopping top pair and a flush draw. That's pretty nice. We're going to be playing for all the marbles here. We're going to c-bet and just not have a fold button. If someone bets, we're going to probably call, I think. Giving up on this particular turn card on table 1. Get called in 2 spots and turn 2 pair with a flush draw. Exciting times. Size is an issue here. Do we just go with the jam? Do we go small and not fold? I think I like the jam. Certainly get called by worse pocket jacks, pocket queens, worse flush draws. Obviously we're going to get snapped off by sets and straights, I understand that, but we have equity against all of those hands. Nothing here, and it's multi-way, so we're just going to give up with the king jack. Still giving up. Two down. Getting towards the end of the video now. We're going to play around to our blinds in a couple of minutes and call it a session. Hopefully there's been some interesting talking points and you guys have got something from it. Don't forget, if you have reached it this far and you enjoy my content, you can find more on Microgrinder, and you can work with me directly by contacting me via one of the many methods listed below. So it's see our next blind time. Should have waited there, we might have had a shitty stack size. Seems like a good spot to start check calling. Wow, he's bet big there. Well, we can't fold obviously. Red please. Nope. We might have to fold this turn if he bombs. Really hope he checks through, or he bets small. If he bets like 30, then probably gonna have to find a fold and feel really quite disappointed. 16.5, so we're getting nearly 3-1 on a call, which means what, 25% equity. It's gonna feel really dirty calling here and folding river, but I think it's the line. Now it's just jam, isn't it? Now it's just jam. And he folds, which is unfortunate, but never mind. So there we go. Pretty much timed it perfectly again for the 45-minute video. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Like I said, do please check out the Microgrinder link. If you're interested in coaching, please do get in touch. And if you're not interested in any of those things, but you enjoyed the content, then please hit the thumbs up button. Take care, everybody. Have a good time, and we'll be back in a day or so with another video. Bye-bye for now.